everybody, Lucius here again with another video. And I know what you're thinking, Lucius, your mask is still on, and that's true, and it's hard for me to breathe through my mask, but I'm gonna try because something has been on my mind, and that's the Walt Disney movie Song of the South. Now there's a lot of talk about it being offensive and racist. And a lot of bad things about it. People don't want anyone to see it anymore. And Walt Disney doesn't want people to see it anymore. And I was like, well, you know what? I haven't seen it. And so that's why I was like, I think I'll actually watch it for myself instead of listening to everybody else talk about it, you know? So I watched the movie, and I do remember the cartoon characters, and I remember Uncle Remus in the commercials and stuff. And the movie was like re-released in the 80s, and I remember that. It was re-released in theaters and stuff. So I did know about it. I remember I still have this record that I have when I was a kid. And it's about Brer Rabbit, and he has Brer, Bear, and Fox, and all this stuff. They're all the cartoon parts of the movie. Now, Song of the South is based on the stories of Uncle Remus, an old book that Walt Disney, I think, read and liked, and he thought, this would make a great movie. And he did that with a lot of books, a lot of fairy tales he adapted for movies, you know, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Pinocchio, all of that. So this was just another story he came across, and he wanted to make a movie of it. So it's the story's about this young boy, played by Bobby Driscoll, who was the voice and the model for the Disney cartoon Peter Pan. And his parents like leave him there on the plantation with his grandmother or aunt or something. But it's about Uncle Remus telling this boy all these like moral tales that are expressed in the form of the animated segments. I can see why certain people would be upset about it. My thought on the movie is just that it's boring. It had the song Zip-A-Dee-Doo-Dah in it, which everybody knows and sings, and it's a happy song, and it won an Academy Award. Should the movie disappear and go away? I don't think so. I think if you want people to learn about stuff and understand why it's a problem, you can't hide it. You can't hide the problem. You gotta have it available for people to see and talk about and make up their own minds. Sometimes you'll change people's minds, and sometimes you won't. But you can't just take the choice away from people. And I think you can't remove history. You should learn from it and everything. And like even Whoopi Goldberg says that the movie shouldn't be buried, that people should talk about it and learn from it. And my idea was, I have these old special edition. They're out of print now. Disney used to make them. They were really good. They're the treasury editions. They have a lot of cool stuff in them, a lot of extras and stuff of their old Disney stuff. And they had like little documentaries and everything with them. One of them that I don't have is about like the World War II stuff, where they have a lot of racial stereotypes, like with Japanese and with the Germans, and you see a lot of swastika stuff and everything that people don't want to see or think about anymore. And I get that, you know. But they are available in these treasury editions, if you can find them, you know. And the way they deal with it is they have Leonard Moulton talk about the context of the time period for this case, for these animated segments and theatrical segments and films and stuff, that they were made. He talks about them and stuff, and they kind of, go into it to educate people. I think that's what they should do with Song of the South. It's like release it on one of these, bring these back, release it on one of these, and have people like Whoopi Goldberg and other people talk about it in the context of the time it was made. And you can talk about race issues and the progress people have made and what still needs to be done to make people happy and get along with each other. Use the tool, but I don't think it's fair to people like James Baskett, who played Uncle Remus as an actor working hard to play a character, or to Walt Disney, who probably didn't really know better, but he was always progressive thinking. A lot of people have talked bad about Walt Disney in the past and stuff, even now, for making these movies. Like in Pinocchio smokes a cigar, or the Siamese cats in Lady and the Tramp, and just different things that people are trying to change because we become more sensitive and more offended, and we progress. That's how we can mark our progression, by the stuff that offends us, I guess. And the thing is, though, when you're creating art, think about this, though. The art you create today might offend someone in the future. So if you're an artist creating art that you think's okay today, but then in, a couple decades from now, whatever, it's offensive to somebody, do you want your art removed and buried and never seen again? Or do you want people to kind of give you a chance and talk about it? It's hard to say, but I think having the movie available to talk about at least gives it a chance to be educational and to learn. And I know what they're doing with Splash Mountain, because Splash Mountain was themed after the Song of the South. That ride at Disney World and Disneyland, it's a water ride, and in it they had all the characters and you hear all the songs. Now people were yelling at them now, yelling at Disney to oh, this is offensive, and it's you can't have this anymore. And I don't think that's necessarily fair, because not everyone's offended. Some people are offended, some people aren't. Some people don't even think about it, but now they're changing it to The Princess and the Frog. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, that's not fair to change that and this and that, because people are offended, because everyone's always going to be offended about something. However, in this case, even though I think they should release Song of the South on one of the Treasury editions with a documentary about it and discussing it in the context of social and political change and all of that, I still think it's fine for Disney to update the rides. In fact, Walt himself always said that Disneyland and Disney World were going to be always changing and always being updated. And if you think about it, it has been that way. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, that submarine ride, they updated that to be Finding Nemo. And Pirates of the Caribbean didn't always have Johnny Depp, because that's a lot older than the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, it was based on that ride. And then, even with that ride, they updated one of the redheaded women who was a wench, I guess, in the ride. They made her a pirate, and people were upset about that. But I think that's, it's the Pirates of the Caribbean is not historically accurate anyway, so it's fun. It's updated, and I think that's harmless fun. And if you want to update the ride on something that matches something more contemporary, like Princess and the Frog, there's no harm in that. But still, don't pretend the movie didn't happen, because it did. And then don't deny people the chance to watch it and enjoy it if they want to enjoy it. If someone watches it and enjoys it, and they have a lot of bad thoughts in their head about people, there's nothing you can do about that. You can't force people to think the way you want to think or feel the way you want to feel, or enjoy the things they want to enjoy. I don't think that's fair either. But I do understand why some people would be upset. This doesn't show people in a good light. But it does talk about racism. Is it a racist movie? What happened was in the movie, and I'm going to spoil the movie because I don't know how many people have actually seen it. I would say here, the boy ends up getting hurt by a bull. And so he's in very bad shape. And he's in the mansion on the plantation, and the woman owns the plantation. I think it's probably grandmother or something like that. The boy is laying on the bed, and he's not doing too well. And everybody's like very worried about him, think he's going to die and everything. And so what's actually helps save the boy is that they allow Uncle Remus to come into the house to see him. And it's like a very big deal. It's very emotional because all through the movie, they've made it clear that he is not allowed in the white people's house. You know, he has his place and that's where he stays. And then at the end, they let him in. And you know what happens? The boy recovers, but you know what happens? Nothing. The house doesn't fall down. The world doesn't stop spinning. So I think there's kind of a lesson in that I would hate to see lost. And I'd hate to see the work that James did kind of like lost to history, you know? At least get it so people can talk about it and make up their own minds. I understand people that don't like it, but I also see that, you know, we can't tell people what to like and not what to like, you know? But who am I? I'm just telling you what I think. But anyway, I just thought the rest of the movie was kind of boring. And so, I don't know. What do I know? But the thing is, maybe I'm not the right person to understand why people would be upset. But talk about it. Don't just tell me I can't talk about it. Tell me why it bothers you, and let's talk about it, and I'll listen. I like to learn things. I like to know what people think and feel and everything, and what they like and what they don't like. But again, it's all up to the individual. And at the end of the day, we're all individuals, and history's something we need to learn from, not ignore. And I feel bad because, like, you know, people don't even want to talk about James winning an Oscar, you know? It was an honorary Oscar, but it was still an Oscar. And that's progress from my perspective anyway. But I'm glad I watched the movie, and I think everybody should watch the movie. Or if you don't have any interest in it, then don't watch it. If you don't want any of your family or friends to watch it, then don't watch it. But I don't think watching a movie is gonna make everybody like go crazy. I think what it did for me was, except for the end scene and the performances, some of the performances that, you know, it didn't change my point of view on anything. It didn't like make me nutty or anything. It was just like a movie. And I thought, it, you know, it was what it was. I really don't think there's much more to talk about, but the Splash Mountain, changing that, why not? You know, Princess and the Frog was a great movie too. And that deserves to have a ride based on it. Disney's always doing that, and I think maybe they don't get enough credit. But anyway, I gotta find something else to do. Now that I've done that, I've been meaning to do that for a while, but well, I hope everybody's staying safe and be nice to each other. Bye!